Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Money in the Bank review. And the Money in the Bank pay-per-view was from the XL Center in Hartford, Connecticut. And before I start the review, if you guys haven't checked out the previous video that I uploaded yesterday, I uploaded my Grease sing-along audience reactions video. Definitely go check it out if you haven't seen it. Got some good reactions from the crowd while watching the film. Had a fun time. It was at the St. George Theater here in Staten Island. It was a late birthday gift for my sister, so I bought her the ticket. I went with her and also a friend. One of our friends also came along with us. So, like I said, if you guys haven't checked out the video, definitely recommend it. Hearing the reactions to the people when we watched the film. So definitely go check it out. But the Money in the Bank, this year's Money in the Bank, I thought the show was average. Did have a few botches here during the show. Two referees in two matches end up botching some stuff. But overall, it was an average show, this year's Money in the Bank. So I'm going to start with, of course, the match that was on the kickoff. This match I didn't get to see, but it was the Usos versus Daniel Bryan and Rowan in a tag team match. And the Usos end up winning. Kind of figured that the Usos were going to win. So that was the match that was on the kickoff show. And then the show kicked off with the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. It was Bayley, Carmella, Dana Brooke, Amber Moon, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, I'm sorry, not Sonya Deville, Naomi, Natalya, and Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross was replacing Alexa Bliss because apparently Alexa is out now, injury, sort of had a concussion. So it was announced earlier last week. I think it was on Friday that they were taking out Alexa and putting in Nikki Cross in the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. But I thought this Women's Money in the Bank, I thought it was decent. It was entertaining in my opinion. You had at one point in the match where Amber Moon actually hit the Eclipse to Natalya, which I thought that was cool from the ladder. Amber Moon ended up hitting the Eclipse from the ladder onto Natalya, which that was cool. And the end of the match came down to Sonya Deville helping Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose was laid out, so Sonya Deville ended up picking up Mandy Rose, giving Mandy Rose a chance to retrieve the briefcase. But unfortunately, Bayley ended up climbing up the ladder. She ended up shoving both Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose off the ladder. Bayley ended up climbing up. She ended up retrieving the briefcase. And there you go. Bayley wins the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And it was awesome. I'm a huge Bayley fan, and seeing this, I was excited. It was rightfully deserved for Bayley to win the Money in the Bank ladder match. So, I was really happy. Then after the match, Charlie Caruso, she ended up interviewing Bayley. Bayley says she is so proud of everything her and Sasha accomplished. And she came to SmackDown to be incapable. And she says tonight she is Miss Money in the Bank. So So it was a little interview with Bayley after the match, but really happy for Bayley. She deserved it. And all in all, the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, it was decent. It was very entertaining. Obviously, we knew that Nikki Cross wasn't going to win it. Dana Brooke wasn't going to win it. And Carmella actually got injured during the match. I think she tweaked her knee, and then she went to the back, and then she came back out. And at some points in this match, it was sloppy, at points here in the match. So, but overall, like I said, it was a decent women's Money in the Bank match. It was entertaining. Then we saw Triple H. He was backstage. He was on the phone. Sami Zayn ends up coming in, taps Triple H on the shoulder. Sami Zayn asks Triple H where Shane is. Triple H ends up telling Sami that Shane is getting ready for his cage match. And you see Triple H trying to go back to the conversation that he's having on the phone. But Sami Zayn ends up telling him that this is very important. So Triple H ends up hanging up the phone. And Sami says Braun Strowman is a problem. He tells Triple H last week Strowman destroyed him to get into the Money in the Bank match. And he ends up saying that Strowman is predictable and vindictive, and Strowman wants to hurt him. So Sami ends up telling Triple H that he can't warm up or think straight. So Triple H ends up telling Sami that, to breathe and relax. And Sami says he's cool, but he thinks he speaks for the other Raw superstars, the heel superstars, about the situation with Braun Strowman. Triple H ends up telling Sami that Braun's not even here, and that he's been banned from the building. Sami says to Triple H, all he's asking for is protection. So Triple H ends up telling Sami that if he wants protection, that he should tape up his fists and get out of his office, which Sami eventually does. So that was a backstage segment with Triple H and Sami Zayn. And then we had Rey Mysterio versus Samoa Joe for the United States Championship. This match went maybe about 5-6 minutes because the referee ended up botching the end of the match. Joe went for a powerbomb to Mysterio, but Mysterio ended up reversing it. And Mysterio ended up rolling up Joe, and which this right here is where the referee botched. When Mysterio went for the pin, Joe's arm was up, and the referee didn't see it. So because of that, Rey Mysterio wins the United States Championship. This is his first ever United States Championship win. Mysterio has never held the United States Championship in his career in WWE. So Rey Mysterio ends up winning the match. His son Dominic was there. And after the match, we see Samoa Joe blindsides Mysterio. Joe ends up putting Mysterio back into the ring. And Joe lays out Mysterio with Uranagis. Joe ends up hitting Uranagis to Rey Mysterio. Did it right in front of Mysterio's son, Dominic. So basically that's what happened after the match. And Joe was actually bleeding here. He was bleeding from, under the eye. So So yeah, so Joe was bleeding here during the match. But all in all, the match itself, it was short. It went for like 5-6 minutes. So, then we saw Braun Strowman. Fortunately, Braun Strowman found a way into the building, and he was backstage, and he was looking for Sami Zayn. He was screaming, where is Sami? So we saw that. So apparently Strowman found a way into the building. He wasn't banned from the building tonight. And then we had Shane McMahon versus The Miz in a steel cage match. This match was terrible. This was a terrible match. Referee botched here also, where The Miz ended up going for a skull crushing finale, which he ended up hitting. He ended up hitting the skull crushing finale on Shane on a chair that The Miz had there. And The Miz went for the pin, and Shane got his foot on the rope, and the referee was like, no, the match continues. And I'm like, there's no disqualifications in a steel cage match. And The Miz should have won the match fair and square. But the referee was like, no, the match still continues when there's no disqualifications in a steel cage match. I was like, what the fuck? And so Shane McMahon ends up winning the match. The Miz end up holding on to Shane, and he ended up lifting up Shane's shirt. Shane's shirt that he was wearing came off, and then Shane dropped out of the cage and won the match. So Shane McMahon wins, and then now they're going to continue this. They're going to continue with this Shane-Miz feud. But The Miz should have had this match won fair and square. The ref should have never botched, that, and said, "Oh, we're continuing the match. Shane's foot was on the rope." When there's no disqualifications in a steel cage match, like, what the fuck? So, but the match itself, it was garbage. It's a fucking terrible match. And then we saw Triple H. Triple H was running backstage. He had an agent there. They were going backstage, and they find Sami Zayn basically strung up. He was crucified upside down. And Triple H was there. He saw it. Triple H was shooing the camera crew away. So they found Sami Zayn upside down, crucified. And we all know that Braun Strowman probably did it. Sorry about that, but I was saying, we all know Braun Strowman did that with Sami backstage. Then we had the Cruiserweight Championship match. Tony Nese versus Ariya Daivari. And this was an entertaining match. This was a good match between the both of them. Sadly, the crowd reaction here was dead. The crowd wasn't really cheering for both of these guys. But Tony Nese, I like Tony Nese. Met him at WrestleMania Access. Very good guy. And he was entertaining here in the match. And Tony Nese ended up winning. Ended up retaining the Cruiserweight Championship. He ended up hitting the running knee to Ariya Daivari. But overall, entertaining match. It was decent. And the crowd should have cheered for both of them. They were dead here. They were dead for this match. And then we went backstage and we saw Triple H. He ran into Braun Strowman, And he says, he gets what he's doing, but if he thinks he's going to take Sami Zayn's place after what he did, it's not happening. That's what Triple H said to Braun Strowman. Strowman ends up telling Triple H that he's got no idea what he's talking about. And Triple H insists that he did. Strowman says he didn't. So Triple H ends up telling Strowman that he's not calling security, but asking him as a professional and as his boss for Strowman to leave the building. So Strowman turns and ends up leaving. So that's what happened. Triple H insisted Strowman to leave the building when he was banned from the building. Then we had Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans for the Raw Women's Championship. Of course, Becky was doing double duty tonight. She had her match with Lacey Evans and she had her match with Charlotte. And Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans for the Raw Women's Championship. It was an okay match. It was back and forth between the both of them. I'm like, we don't know why Lacey Evans got a shot anyways at the Raw Women's Championship. I'm like, what does she do to earn a shot at the Raw Women's Championship? Well, she basically only had 2 matches? So Becky Lynch ended up winning the match. Ended up blocking into this armor on Lacey Evans. Lacey ended up tapping out. So Becky Lynch still retains the Raw Women's Championship. Then after that match was over, Charlotte wasted no time coming out. So Charlotte ended up coming out. She wanted this match to get over with. So we had the match. It was Charlotte versus Becky Lynch for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And the match itself, it was decent. It was back and forth between the both of them. And towards the end of the match, Charlotte ended up hitting the big boot to Becky. And when that happened, I was like, oh my God, here we go again. Charlotte reigns. Trying to get a win. Which unfortunately she did. So Charlotte ends up winning. Laid out Becky Lynch with the big boot, which Becky ended up botching. Becky ended up botching the move when Charlotte came with the big boot. So Charlotte ended up winning the SmackDown Women's Championship. She became a 9-time champion. This was thanks to Lacey Evans, because Lacey Evans helped Charlotte defeat Becky Lynch. So after the match, Becky ended up beating down on Lacey. Charlotte came in. She ended up kneeing Becky. And she ended up putting Becky back in the ring. We had a 2-on-1 on Becky. It was Lacey Evans and Charlotte. They ended up beating down on Becky. There was crowd chants of Bayley. For Bayley to come out, cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase. But lo and behold, Bayley ended up coming out. She ends up attacking Lacey Evans. She gives Lacey Evans a Bayley to belly. Charlotte then ended up attacking Becky and also Bayley. And looks like Charlotte was going to go for a spear to Bayley. Bayley ended up moving out of the way, and Charlotte goes face first into the turnbuckle. Charlotte was laid out. She was not moving. Bayley was still standing. The crowd was going ballistic for Bayley for her to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase, because this was, the right time and the right chance for Bayley to cash it in. What Charlotte laid out. And so Bayley ends up cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase. So the referee and the bell rang, and Bayley went to the top She ended up hitting the flying elbow to Charlotte. Bayley ends up pinning Charlotte. And there you go. Bayley is now the SmackDown Women's Champion. And when that happened, when they said that Bayley is going to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase, I was like, yes, yes. And then when she hit that flying elbow and pinned Charlotte, I was like, good night to be a Bayley fan. And you could tell that they gave Bayley the championship so that she wouldn't walk out of WWE after still being pissed that she lost the Women's Tag Team Championships with Sasha. And this is kind of WWE's message as a fuck you to Sasha since she ended up walking out. This could have been Sasha's moment. The WWE, if Sasha wouldn't have walked out of the company, I think WWE would have gave the Money in the Bank briefcase to Sasha. So this could have been Sasha's time to win the Money in the Bank, have her cash in the briefcase, and win the Raw Women's Championship. But it all went to Bayley. So I think this is also another good chance for Bayley, because after the terrible booking that WWE gave Bayley with her coming up to the main roster, this is good for Bayley. WWE did a good thing after all the terrible booking that they put Bayley in ever since she came up to the main roster. This is a good thing. And because of this, Bayley is now a Grand Slam champion, meaning she won the NXT Women's Championship, she won the Raw Women's Championship, the Women's Tag Team Championship, and now the SmackDown Women's Championship. There you go. Really happy. She's a Grand Slam champion. There you go. So Bayley is your new SmackDown Women's Champion. Then after that, we had filler. This was filler. Elias. We see Roman backstage. Elias is in the back of him. Elias ends up hitting Roman with his guitar. Roman was out backstage after the guitar shot. And then we just see Elias. He ends up making his way to the ring. He has a guitar, plays a few bars. We had Mike Rome go, "Ladies and gentlemen, Elias," or Greg Hamilton, whoever it was. So he plays a few bars. Elias plays a few bars, and he says that felt good when he hit Roman backstage with the guitar. He says he'd usually do an acoustic set here, but his guitar broke. I'm like, no shit if your guitar broke. And he goes on to talk about how Vince believes the future of WWE is in good hands with him around. And he plays a song about how great he is and how much Roman sucks and what a disgrace the city of Hartford is. And he says he goes to leave, and he's like, "I'm out of here." Sorry about that, but I was saying, Elias goes to leave. He's like, "Oh, I'm done." And then Roman Reigns' music hits. Roman comes out, hits Elias with a Superman punch, and then they go to the ring. The match gets underway. And Roman ends up defeating Elias, hits a spear to Elias. That basically is it. Roman Reigns wins. So Elias gets fed to Roman. Not surprised. Not surprised. Then we had which I consider the best match of the night. Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles for the Universal Championship. This match was awesome. This was a great match. The crowd was really into this match. They were popping for both guys. It was back and forth between them. And the wrestling here was awesome. And both of these guys tore the house down. And Seth Rollins ended up winning the match. He ended up hitting the Revolution knee to Styles. Then he hit Styles with a super kick, which led into him hitting the stomp or the curb stomp. And he pins Styles. There you go. Seth Rollins wins, retains the Universal Championship. And yet after the match, Styles ended up, he left the ring. He walked up a little bit up the ramp. Then he came back, ran back into the ring, and they had a little stare down, both Styles and Rollins. Seth ends up holding up the Universal Championship, and Styles reaches out his hand for Seth to shake, to both show respect to one another for a great match. Seth reaches out his hand. They both shake hands, respect one another, because they put on one hell of a match. It was an awesome match. It was the best match of the night. The crowd was really into it. It was awesome. Awesome match that they both had. So we had Charlie Caruso. She was interviewing Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. She ends up asking Kofi about Kevin Owens, saying that Kofi is just champion because of the New Day. And Kofi says Kevin Owens isn't wrong when he says New Day. The New Day is why he's WWE champion. He says if it wasn't for New Day, he doesn't know if he'd be standing here right now. And that's not an embarrassment. So Xavier Woods tells Kofi not to sell himself short. And that tonight, he's going to show Kevin Owens why he should have never crossed the New Day. And he says he's going to respect Kofi's wishes to stay backstage and not interfere in the match. And Kofi says tonight's going to be a statement to Kevin Owens and anyone that tries to use his brothers to get to the title, that it won't work now or ever. So it was a decent interview with Kofi and Xavier. More so Kofi. Then we had the Lucha House Party come out. They were coming out for a 6-man tag team match. But Lars Sullivan ends up coming out. Lars Sullivan ends up basically destroying the Lucha House Party. So he ends up slamming Gran Metalik, ends up slamming Lince Dorado on the outside. Kalisto tries to fight off Lars, but we see Lars then headbutts Kalisto, and with that headbutt, Lars busted himself open. He was bleeding. And then we saw Lars ends up hitting a running power bomb. It was a power bomb to Kalisto. Laid out Kalisto. This was just filler. It was basically just filler. Then we had Kofi Kingston versus Kevin Owens for the WWE Championship. And this was a decent match. This was a good match between the both of them. It was back and forth between Kofi and Kevin Owens. Kofi did decent here. He's very good here. Kofi ended up winning. He ended up pinning the Trouble in Paradise to Kevin Owens. So Kofi ends up retaining the WWE Championship. And all in all, good match. It was a decent match between the both of them. Then we had the main event, which was the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. It was Mustafa Ali, Andrade Cien Almas, Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, Randy Orton, Ricochet, and a eighth man who was supposed to replace Sami Zayn, which he did come in later on, and by God, I was fucking pissed because it was a Vince McMahon move. We all know that Vince probably did this. No, this was all Vince's idea, which I'll get to. But the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, this was a good match. This was a good men's Money in the Bank ladder match. It was very entertaining. You had Andrade do a sunset flip powerbomb from the ladder to Finn Balor. Balor ended up bouncing off of the ladder, which was very awesome, and it was very crazy. And you had a point where Andrade ended up hitting, and Andrade and Mustafa Ali were on the ladder, and they end up doing like a flip off the ladder, and that was fucking awesome, and the crowd really loved that, and this crowd was really into the match. And right after when Mustafa Ali and Andrade went off the top of the ladder with that flip, both guys went off the ladder. Then you hear Michael Cole go, "What is wrong with these guys?" And I'm like, Michael Cole, they're giving you, what's wrong with these guys? They're giving you an awesome fucking match, an awesome moment. And it went all over this match in the ring and on the outside. And the match itself got ruined in the end. You know, Vince McMahon was probably like backstage and was like, "Oh, the crowd is loving this. The crowd is loving this. Let me mess up this match." And then who comes out? Who's the eighth man to replace Sami Zayn? Brock fucking Lesnar. And when he came out, I'm like, oh my God, please don't tell me they're gonna do this. WWE had a good opportunity to put Bray Wyatt in this match. This could have been a good thing for Bray Wyatt, for him to be the eighth man and, you know, make the crowd, you know, have a very unexpected thing going on. Make the crowd, have the crowd make an unexpected moment and have Bray Wyatt come out. But no, they didn't do that. Vince McMahon brings out Brock Lesnar. You could tell that this was Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon brings out Brock Lesnar. Probably told Lesnar to go out there and be the eighth man. So Brock Lesnar ends up running to the ring, pushes a ladder. The ladder goes on the camera crew, gets in the ring, takes down Mustafa Ali. Brock Lesnar ends up climbing the ladder and ends up retrieving the Money in the Bank briefcase. Now, and then when that happened, I'm like, fuck this. Fuck this. You give the Money in the Bank briefcase to a fucking part-timer? Fucking part-timer. Brock Lesnar did nothing but run to the ring, push over a ladder onto camera crew, take out Mustafa Ali, climb the ladder, retrieves the briefcase. That's all that Brock Lesnar did. And you fucking put it on him. You know where this is leading to, right? This is leading to Brock Lesnar to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase on Kofi Kingston. Ends up beating Kofi. And WWE puts the championship on Lesnar. And WWE is going to make the WWE Championship irrelevant. And the title is going to be off TV for months. You know they're going to do that. You know they're going to put a title back on Brock Lesnar. We all know it's going to happen. We all know it's coming. What a fucking dumb decision to give Brock Lesnar the Money in the Bank briefcase. A part fucking timer. Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. WWE had the perfect opportunity to bring Bray Wyatt. Well, if they were going to do Bray Wyatt, to bring Bray Wyatt out, put him in the match. But no, they didn't do that. Wasted potential. Wasted fucking potential by WWE. So there you go. Brock Lesnar, winner of the men's Money in the Bank match. Men's Money in the Bank, it was an awesome match. It was a good match up until this bullshit fucking ended with Brock Lesnar. So anyways, that's it for the Money in the Bank review. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Like I said, it was an average show with a bullshit end to the men's Money in the Bank. So, anyways, thank you all for watching, and give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Also follow me if you haven't on the Stardust app at MikeyBoy101591. And until the next video, which hopefully tomorrow, I get a chance to go see. I'll get a chance to go see Detective Pikachu. So if I do, there will be a review of that. Really looking forward to seeing the film. So if I do get a chance to see it, there will be a review tomorrow, and also, of course, the Monday Night Raw review. And like I said, if you guys haven't checked out my previous video, the Grease Sing-Along Audience Reactions, definitely go check it out. It's a good video. So, till the next video, I'll see you all later.